Good morning, everyone. It's Robin Shea here. It is day 7 of Before the Fork, the 28-day experience, and we are well into phase 2. I think we're entering into 4, 5, 6. This is day 4 of phase 2. So I hope you guys are still feeling all of the energy from your desired self story, and I hope that you have experienced a couple of discomfort, a couple of opportunities that you chose yourself over the temptation. So you leaned into that feeling of push-pull that happens every time we're trying to redirect ourselves. So I hope that you are heightenedly aware of the energy that is being moved through your life right now, the frustration, the yearning, the aching, the success, the failure. I hope you're feeling all of that with incredible intensity. And this morning, I wanted to talk to you about using our breath and breath work to help you know when to embrace the struggle and when to release the struggle. So we're big kayakers here in Kentucky. There's a lot of beautiful streams and creeks and rivers and lakes. And so we're out in our kayak a lot. And sometimes my husband gets a little frustrated with me because we'll go out with a big group of people. And honestly, because I'm a fitness person, anytime I'm going to allocate 4 hours to an activity, I'm not about floating down the river. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but if I'm going to be doing something for 4 hours that I can turn into a physical challenge, that's what I'm going to do. So we will go out kayaking and I will float with them. Hi, Lisa. I'll float with everyone for a while and then I'll paddle ahead. So they're floating with the current and I'll be paddling or floating with them, and then I'll paddle ahead and then I'll turn my kayak back around and then I'll paddle into them. So I'm going against the current. Now, sometimes they'll play with me and we can do races and things like that. And sometimes, Greg is like, can you just hang back and just float with us? So when I talk about this day 7, which is learning to use your breath, learning to know when to float with the current and when to fight against the current. Think about swimming. Think about going out to the ocean. And there are times that we go to the ocean and we get out a little ways and we can still see the shoreline and we don't even know it, but the current is pulling us down the shoreline. So hi Jerry Beth, good to see you. So we think we're standing still, but that current is actually carrying us down the ocean banks or ocean, whatever, shoreline. And then sometimes that we have to turn around and swim back into that current. And the number one thing they tell you when you're swimming in the ocean and that current gets too strong is to take a breath and relax into the current. Let the current push you back to the shore. Don't fight the current. You fight the current, you get exhausted. And then, of course, your opportunity of drowning into this situation becomes much greater. Hi, Kim. So what I want to talk about this morning is using your breath and using your breath work to, whenever the struggle seems like you're drowning, whenever the struggle seems too intense, take that metaphor from kayaking, from the ocean, take that metaphor into your internal world. And use your breath to help you get on the other side of these, what can seemingly be these incredible struggles where you feel like you may be drowning. So the breath does a couple of things. Of course, it slows us down. It is one of the reasons, now this is interesting, it's one of the reasons that we say prayer prior to eating. When you say prayer and you calm yourself and you're focusing on your breath, you're getting out of your head, you're showing gratitude, this actually affects your nervous system. And it takes you from the sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight, which unfortunately is what a lot of us are locked into most always throughout our day. We're in that heightened state of awareness. So it takes us from our flight or fight and it moves us into our parasympathetic nervous system, where we can actually effectively, hi Teresa, digest our food. Our food can be assimilated and allocated to the parts of our body where it's necessary. So prayer for honoring God and the gratitude that we have in our life is absolutely a beautiful reason for prayer. But from a more physical aspect, it works on us at a completely different level as well. So when they say don't stand up and eat, don't eat in the car, there's a reason for that. We are in most often our sympathetic nervous system. So we're not assimilating our nutrition. Yes, we're eating. Yes, we're getting the calories, but it's not being absorbed and distributed as it would be if you truly carve out your mealtime, set your stage, say your prayer, do a little breath work, and allow your body to move into the parasympathetic nervous system so that it can assimilate that food, and that food can really be used where you need it in your body, and your body knows that way before your rational head. So that's one way that calming our breath down can benefit us. Another way is through the breath, through an abdominal breath, meaning that when you breathe in, you're extending your stomach, not just your chest. You can breathe in and puff your chest up and you notice your stomach goes in, or you can breathe in and you can extend your stomach. So it's not so much in your chest, you feel your stomach rise. Those are wonderful, wonderful deep breaths to take. But that is a way to oxygenate our prefrontal cortex and get on the other side, like reactivate our prefrontal cortex, quiet down our hind mind, our hind brain. Brain and mind, those are some tricky terms. So if I move back and forth between the two, hopefully I'm not confusing you. So the breath, once we oxygenate the prefrontal cortex, our thought and our clarity gain strength. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that heightened awareness of our desired self story, the top of the happiness ladder, rather than a heightened sense of the sympathetic nervous system that activates. That sympathetic nervous system quiets the prefrontal cortex and activates the hindbrain, meaning that we lose very little control over our impulses and things that are stuck down in our hindbrain. Have you ever been in the kitchen or in the car or just in a situation and you eat through a sleeve of Oreos and you don't even remember getting them out of the cupboard, setting them on the counter and taking the first bite, but before you know it, you're through an entire sleeve? Well, chances are your sympathetic nervous system was in a heightened state. Your prefrontal cortex was shut down, all but shut down. And you went into a self-soothing, kind of protective, part of your day, simply because your sympathetic nervous system was in charge of everything. So you have no heightened awareness of what you're doing. So the breath work is very, very important in switching those two activation centers. So I love the example about the kayaking. I love the example about the ocean, because when you're tired, use your breath to just melt into the current and let the current carry you. Let the current, let a peacefulness wash over you, that all is well. Do some breath work. I have some yoga that I'm going to show you this afternoon or on tonight's video. And it's just a super brain yoga. It's about integrating both sides of your mind and helping to have that, rather than such a huge divide in your prefrontal cortex and your hindbrain, kind of help balance those two out a little bit better. So it's not 95-5, but perhaps it's 75-25, or maybe even 60-40. So it's helping to just integrate the mind in more of a whole sense through the breath and through a gentle movement that anyone can do. I promise anyone can do. This isn't any hardcore yoga. This is just called super brain training. And it's about integrating all parts of the mind to work more cohesively together. So I hope that was beneficial to y'all this morning. Breath work is often neglected. Meditation is often neglected. But remember, every time you harness your own energy and you take control from a very conscious perspective and you quiet yourself down, the most beneficial meditation session is when you spend the whole meditation session quieting the chatter. It doesn't have to go quiet. You know, sometimes you can get up from a meditation and you're like, that sucked. I was terrible. I had monkey mind the entire session. I had to pull myself back to center, 20 times in that 10-minute session. But that right there is the work. That's the work. Through the breath and through quieting the monkey mind, all of that internal chatter that starts to happen when we let it run rampant. That's all meditation is learning to quiet the monkey mind, pulling it back to center. And when you make it more than that, and you never really feel like you're ever achieving what the goal of meditation is. And the goal of meditation is just for the trainer, which is the prefrontal cortex, to remind the horse or the puppy or the dog or whatever it is that you want to consider your hind brain, just to remind that hind brain that the trainer's got you. I've got you. You are safe. You are loved. I am caring for you. That's all meditation is. So any bigger, broader, more confusing definition of meditation really devalues what the core of meditation is. And that is that consciousness will care for you. Consciousness will allow you to rest into the current of change from a guided perspective, and we're not going to let you down. So hopefully today was beneficial to y'all and you are doing awesome in your 80%. I had a couple of folks that posted on the page about how they're going to celebrate their 20%. Kelly and I, my good friend that's in from out of town, we're going to a kind of a, like a girls' night out. We're going with my mom, my sister, my sister-in-law, and a couple other girlfriends that we have in the area. And we're just going to spend a night out on the town together, enjoying food and each other's company. So I'm sure that my 20%, actually, when we found out about the event, we carved it out for tonight. So Kelly and I are really going to have a good time tonight. And I love to go into these kind of evenings completely, totally, utterly guilt-free, knowing that this is why I live 80-20. So that these nights like this can be experienced guilt-free, without any baggage, and fully and wholly embraced. And that's what makes them so, so very special. So I'll be indulging in my 20% tonight. I may even take a picture of whatever it is that I'm indulging in and post it up on the page. I would love for y'all to do the same. And whenever you have a plate that you're super proud of, that is a super balanced, healthy fat, nice carbohydrate, good healthy protein, post a picture of your plate up here. Share some of the things, the tips that are getting you through phase 2. Every time we share, we're dropping a little bit of wisdom nugget into someone else's lap, and that is a gift. So please don't hold back, share, and know that you've got support here. All right. I love you all very much. Have a super blessed day, and I will talk to you tonight. I don't know what that looks like, and I don't know where it's going to be from, but you can rest assured that there will be a video tonight. Okay. Y'all have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.